how to preserve the money that you have if you're retired, and how much over the course of the year that you should actually be taking out of those accounts and using. And it used to be, what, about 4%, between 4 and 5 for folks that wanted their retirement to pretty much last throughout the end of their life, right?
Right, correct.
And now we're looking at, well, lower than that. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I'll tell you what's really happening, Bill. The good news is as follows, is that we're living longer.
Right.
When we look at 4%, they were providing for 25 years of retirement. Now when you're looking at 3%, they're looking for 33 years in retirement. So the good news is that we're living longer. The bad news is that we haven't planned sometimes for that additional period of time that we'll be alive. So that's why they're suggesting that you should take out less from your retirement account or from your retirement savings over a period of time.
So on average, and I realize this depends on the type of lifestyle that a person wants and everything else, but how much typically should an individual have at the time that they hit 65 and say, okay, I'm retiring? How much should the average, I'm going to spread this out and say the average couple have in their retirement savings to be able to live a reasonably decent existence until they die?
The difficult part that we have is that everyone has a different lifestyle that they have individually. But to answer your question, I think the way one needs to go about it is they need to sit down and really make a game out of making a budget. What do I least need to be able to live? And some people who are used to living on $3,000 a month might need to live at $2,000 a month. Some people that might need $15,000 a month might now have to come down to $12,000 a month. So we do have to adjust according to what we've saved and according to the budget that we plan on living in. Some people move from a very expensive state to a less expensive state just to be able to have that reduction in cost of living.
What right now, I mean, at least according to the research that you've done and the like, if you're going to be a retiree, what is the most cost-effective state to be living in at this point?
We've always heard of, Texas has got a lot of people moving into it, and obviously everyone has known for years about moving to Florida or moving to Arizona, to the sun places where they cater a lot to people that are retiring and where the weather conditions are more favorable.
As far as, are those necessarily the most cost-effective places, though, for a senior citizen to be moving? Because, Florida can be really expensive.
It can. Certain parts of Florida that are inexpensive. And I think in that regard in all states as well. Like I live in Dallas. And Dallas is relatively inexpensive for sure for people moving down from the northeast. But at the same time, there's other parts of Texas. Let's say you go to the smaller towns where it's very less expensive, even much more less expensive than where Dallas is right now.
Ivan Sachs joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. He's a financial strategist. Ivan, is the trend moving towards people not retiring at 65 years old and, pushing it out another couple of years or maybe even longer before they retire so they can get that larger Social Security benefit?
Well, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, it seems to be that with the longer time that we're living, it's actually healthy for people to be working longer. It keeps one active, keeps one engaged, and there are a lot more people now preparing for retirement by working just that little bit longer, realizing that they hopefully will be living a lot longer as well. And they've got a longer time to be able to save.
And what is kind of the average age then? Are they going until they're 67, 68? Are people pushing it out until they're 70 years old? What's the average?
It used to be that it used to be 62, and I'm seeing a lot more people working up until the age of 70. It's a different world. It's changing, with the, again, as our lifestyle, we're living longer, so we do need to be planning for additional savings.
How many of those folks, though, are working longer because they took a big hit either during the dot-com bust or after 2009? Or maybe they took a hold in both.
There were a lot of people that were affected by 2008, 2009, and then obviously by the dot-com as well in 2000. unfortunately, we do get affected by these major things, and we have to be able to adapt to those and be pretty vigilant in terms of knowing that we are on top of our finances, on top of our investments, and knowing that you do have a good financial person taking care of you.
Ivan, thanks for joining us on the Wake Up Call this morning. We appreciate it. If folks want to find out more about you, where can they go? What can they do? Website?
They can go to www.kingsleyadvisors.com.
All right. Ivan, have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Ivan
Bye-bye.
Sachs, financial strategist on News Radio 1120 KBNW.